he's a pancake. So this is Studio Series Shockwave, Bumblebee movie Shockwave at least. And I know he came out a while ago, and yeah, I really did slouch on getting him. It wasn't like he was difficult to find. I only needed to drive out of my state and across an entire other state to find him. So yeah, I understand if you were mad at me for not having this guy, because yeah, I was just lazy. That's why I didn't care. Totally not Hasbro Distribution's fault. So yeah, it's the Prime Shockwave tank, and he looks really cool. You can plug the hose in up front if you really want to, but then that kind of limits the traverse of the turret. The gun, the handle kind of thoops in different spots, so it can elevate and depress, but there's a spot where it doesn't like to. It looks really good, though. He's got a lot of nice gunmetal color all over him. Otherwise, he's really... The coolest part about the transformation for me is how they get a really bulky, boxy, tanky-looking robot to turn into a pancake. Really cool, and I love all this detail. The hose is a lot more detailed than I thought it would be. The gun does have a lot of hollowness, but for how it transforms, I don't know how they could have done that better. Yeah, he's a very long tank, and the turning, it must be very difficult for this guy to turn, but it's Cybertronian. There's no critiquing a Cybertronian in alternate mode. It's alien. We don't have any frame of reference. So let's get on to transformation then. If you don't want a parts form, you don't need to. You can take the hose off in this section, plug it into the gun, then take the gun off. And then you fold in the handle, fold the gun up, then you just fold this down, fold the head up, split the arms, bring them down, bring out one hand. You can bring out both if you want to, but, orient the arm however you want to. We'll talk about that later. Plug the gun in, split the legs, fold all of this up, fold this up, slot that in, fold these down, fold these up, and rotate these around. Now he looks amazing. He is so Shockwave was never a bruiser, well, aside from some of the comics, but he was, he's not your typical tank of a Decepticon. You don't think of him in the same style as, Brawl or Six Shot or even Tarn. But he almost always, has such a really stocky, just tanky build. And the way they're able to take that flat and turn it into this looking robot is really cool. The light piping, it's not the best, but it's also not horrible. You can get it to work if you fiddle with it. And I really like the flatter head. It's not for everyone, but it makes him look a lot angrier. I'm a fan of the intakes and the size like Prime Shockwave had. The gun, it looks weird and it looks disjointed, and there's no proper flow from this section to this section. But it's how it looked in the movie, and it looks a lot more utilitarian, It doesn't look like it's designed to look like a cool sci-fi gun. It looks like a genuine, artillery piece strapped to a man's arm. Kind of hodgepodge cobbled together. Probably did it himself so he could be more powerful. The battle damage on this guy, I like battle damage on the Bumblebee movie figures, actually. And it's not too in your face like most battle damage is. I think it's actually, perfectly evenly spaced. I love the little bits of, the copper color over him to make him look even more mechanical. It's in the gunmetal gray, and just a sucker for gunmetal gray. I love, the flat parts as well, with, no detail, where it's just armored metal over his internal sections, the chest, these little Iron Man-looking shin sections. It's all great. Articulation, the hands can rotate, he's got full range at the legs, he's got 2 thigh rotations, for double the fun. Feet, they can't pivot the best, they can tilt. The arms, they can go 90 degrees, and they fit, perfectly in this little, it doesn't look like they'd be able to mesh with the shoulder pads, but they do. The shoulder pads do get in the way a bit of the shoulders, but not too much. He can still bring his arms out pretty much all the way, and he can rotate full 360 at a good angle. Now, the problem, he has no bicep swivel. Because of that, they gave him a below the elbow swivel, which is nice. They didn't have to do that, but they knew they were going to have to make a compromise, so they gave us a, not a best solution, but they gave us a consolation, basically. And because of that, you can orient the arms however you want to. So the elbow joint is pretty much wherever you want to. He can have this part facing up. He can have this part facing up. This part facing up if you want to be a freak with it. Same thing with like the gun. It can be facing like this, or it can be facing like this. So you have your options. And again, if you look, I don't know, I've never seen confirmation for this, but I think that Toy Guy's assessment is like on point, where you have the elbow pivot here, you have the shoulder pivot here, and you have a tab right there. So there's really nowhere it could have gone, because it's not just a cut. Like you see, it has to have room for double mushroom peg, and that really just couldn't have fit there. And that would have made the vehicle mode be a bit less stable. The point of these guys is they transform. If you want superposability, then you go to the 3-0 things. That the point of those is they don't transform, but they have extra good posability. The what's made Transformers so cool, and why I like them, one of the reasons, is that they're action figures that pose well, but also transform. Because, historically, as we know, transformation and good posing have been difficult to incorporate at the same time together, which is why non-transforming figures exist in the first place, so you have a lot better posing. So seeing a limit to the posing in favor of having a more stable transformation doesn't surprise me at all. Is this limit a bit of a bigger limit than the compromises they make in the past? Like, you know, sometimes Starscream won't have a waist swivel. Sometimes the figure might not have a full knee bend or something like that. Sometimes the waist or the crotch section might block a full kick or a full splits. This is a bit more egregious of a compromise, but because they gave us a consolation, and just frankly because of how cool this figure looks, and the fact that if you want a superposable version of this guy, he is readily available out there, I think I can understand this compromise. So it doesn't bother me that much. There are a few poses where I'd want to have this guy have a bicep swivel for, but Shockwave was never that dynamic anyway, so it doesn't bother me that much, and I can find ways to work around it. So, like, that's my opinion, and again, sorry for taking forever to get this guy, but, like, I don't like ordering things online, because not only the prices jack up, but, like, I just think it's funner to buy things from a physical store. Just, if I order something online, I go online, I see it, I click order, and I have to wait weeks. If I want to buy something in person, I go to the store, I see it, I pay the money for it, and then it's immediately mine. Imagine how stupid, crazy it would be if Walmart or Target were like, okay, thank you, sir, your payment's been approved, now please wait 3 to 4 weeks. What? But that's my figure. I own it. Yes, you do, sir. You've already paid for it. You own it. It is yours. And it's right there. I can see it. Yeah. So can I have it? No, you gotta wait 2 to 4 weeks. It just, I know that's not how it works. It's literally because shipping time, they have to get it to you. But just for my little primal dumb monkey brain, it feels more satisfying to buy things in person than it does to order them. That's why I harp on distribution so much. And like, if modern stores are so bad that you can't even reliably get things at them, then what's the point? Why not have everything be online? That is not me saying I want everything online. I don't. I think that's a horrible idea. That's me saying if modern stores want to be successful and don't want to go the way of the dodo bird, they might need to stock things, or else everyone will order online. Yeah, so there's my thoughts on Shockwave.